Yo, dude, I appreciate that. Yeah, I know that too, and I've been pretty vocal about that too. Yeah, I understand that. I understand the that premise very well myself as also. The my expectations for a lot of the industry to look at what I do here and be wanting to back this is there's not going to be a lot of support for that. There's not going to be a lot of support for that. I understand that. But that's not what I'm about. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I think that in most facets of what the world brings to the table for us anymore, all the way around, money talks, right? And it gets a lot of people to shut up about the things that we need to be talking about. And this is the world that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about video games. I've always loved the world of video games. And I've got the opportunity right now. I don't know if I'll be able to do this forever, but I do have the opportunity right now to deep dive into the world that I love, which is why I do the news segments at the beginning of every stream. You know, it's important to me to stay current and to try and promote a healthier industry for us as consumers and gaming enthusiasts as well, you know. And I think there are a lot of other people out there that feel the same way, which is, you know, another reason that I do this. And I think you nailed it, McSplash. Yeah, I think you nailed it, my friend. Absolutely. And I think that one of the things that I've told people for a long time is I am not somebody that cares to be sponsored by anything that I would not want to have myself branded with, you know? So, you know, for me, it's not, you know, it's not a money thing. It's not a money thing. It's a passion thing. And I think that you talk about sponsors and things like that. There are a lot of companies out there that I really wouldn't want to have anything to do with. I think that, you know, you take a look at this premise that we're talking about. You know, we kind of transitioned a bit here into another topic, but it brings up a good point, man. You talk about like the Game Awards. You know what we've seen happen with the Game Awards and Jeff Keighley. It used to be at least something of substance. You know, the Game Awards used to be something that you could at least look forward to them calling out some of the more, you know, disgusting things happening in the industry, right? And it's quite obviously turned into just a corporate ruse now, where Jeff Keighley has a bunch of, you know, he's living this life apparently of having a bunch of industry, you know, leader buddies, and he votes on a panel of people to give out awards. The public vote doesn't matter for the Game Awards. He doesn't want to call out anybody for, you know, firing people. You know, when this year has been so light and dark, if you will, right? Just so light and dark. How many, dude, we have not seen a year like this for game releases in probably the past 2 decades. The last 20 years, man. We haven't seen game releases like this, right? This many banger games. I mean, how many games did we have released this year that, you know, were consensus rated as above a 90, which is a rarity in and of itself. And we're not even talking about the number of games that hit like mid to high 80s, which is really, really respectable. Normally, a game that even hits mid to high 80s of a consensus review point are very notable, very memorable, sometimes even genre-defining games. Almost anything that hits a 90 or above is. This year's been incredible. And then on the other side of this, it's just the industry's just getting obliterated. Everybody's losing their jobs. All these companies are firing all their employees. Nobody's taking care of their employee base. It's terrible to see and watch every single day. I mean, we just had another report. I've got an article, man, on the YouTube page where, you know, with some of the leaks that came out under Sony and Insomniac, Sony's pushing Insomniac to fire people. And then like a couple of days later, we find out that Sony is touting this to be another record-breaking year for PlayStation. What? Another record-breaking year for PlayStation, and they are forcing one of their best first-party studios to fire people. It literally makes no sense at all. No sense. And this is, I mean, you know, it really is, man. It's really crazy. It doesn't compute, dude. It doesn't compute at all. And I think the thing that's big for me is like, yo, to all these companies out here that are doing this kind of thing, we just get, there's a couple of articles, like, I don't know if you've seen the Mike Drucker thing. Do I have that? Oh yeah, dude, check this out. We read an article a little bit earlier in the year. Mike Drucker is an excellent writer, and I will never ever forget Mike Drucker's name because of this article we read that I just linked, basically a cutout from a video gaming news segment where he wrote an article that was a parody of what all these companies say every time they fire employees, which is the same default bullcrap. We love our company. We love our employees. We love our community of gamers. There's nothing else we could have done. You know, it's always the same default bullcrap we get, but they never want to be transparent. These companies never want to be transparent. They never want to, you know, yeah. They never want to talk about, like, we've actually hit a number of great Mike Drucker articles this year, and some of them have ended up in some specific articles that I've put on YouTube that I've cut out of the news segments. But it's like I would be much more accepting of these studios and these companies if they would just, publishers and developers and things like that, if they would just try to be a little bit open with us, you know? But the reason there's only one reason they won't be, right? There's only one reason they won't be open with us. And it's because they know that they're doing scummy crap. They know that it's all about just numbers. Numbers. It's not about taking care of people. It's not about taking care of employees. It's not about taking care of the consumers and fan base that have supported you through the years or anything like that. It's all numbers. It's how much can you line the pockets of your, you know, your board members and your CEO and COO and stuff like that, right? And there was even recently an article that we read about Bungie, where, because Bungie's getting destroyed right now under Sony. They've lost most of their, you know, really, companies that take care of their employees, there's something to be said for morale, right? If you've ever worked in, dude, I've worked in numerous places where the morale was balls. It was trash. And you could tell that myself included and most other people that came to work hated it. Hated working in that place because the morale was terrible. You know, they didn't take care of their employees the way they should have. And Bungie has traditionally been pretty good at that, it seems. And they had a lot of, like, extracurricular stuff set up for their employees to do. It was all about taking care of the employees, raising morale. Dude, they've nixed all of that. They're stripping all the, you know, extracurricular stuff out of the company. They're, you know, firing people we've seen. There's all kinds of wild stuff going on at Bungie. Well, during a big meeting, one of the, I think, lower management asked higher management, have we considered, this was like a quote that came out of one of these meetings, like, have we considered, you know, has upper management considered not taking bonuses, maybe taking a little bit of a salary cut or anything to try and save the employees that have helped get us to where we are at this point, you know, rather than just immediately going and firing people? And the response they got was, we're not that kind of company. Quote unquote, We're not that kind of company. What? Bro. So that's one of those things that I think tells you, you know, most of these companies are like, yo, as long as our, you know, everybody at the top of our company, as long as their pockets are lined with gold, you know, and they don't give a crap. They don't care. And it's disgusting to watch. And I don't think every company is like that, you know, but it's rough to see so many of them appear to be that way. And then we can only expect that, especially the ones we're seeing just constantly fire people back to back to back, you know what I mean? That if they're not being transparent with us and they're not giving us information as to why this has happened, like, yo, we made some bad business decisions, we have taken pay cuts, we have, you know, we're not giving out bonuses, we're doing everything we can to save, we've done everything we can to save employees' jobs, things like that. We don't get that. And unless we do get that kind of information from those companies, there's only one thing for us to expect, right? Which is that they are terribly managed corporations that only care about lining upper management's pockets with money, dude. You know? That's the only thing I can suspect. So, yeah, sorry, I got a bit off on a bit of a rant there, so I guess I digress. But it's a tough thing to see every single day, and I guess, you know, your statement in chat there just led me to get off on a tangent, because I've always been pretty outspoken about the fact that what I do here is not about... I've never cared to be famous. I don't really care to be famous. I'm not a real wantful person either. I don't need a lot of money. I'm a very fortunate person already. I'm rich in life, man. You know, I'm a rich in life person. But I love the world of video games, and I'm very passionate about it, obviously. And so when it comes to this kind of stuff, I'm not worried about the ramifications of companies looking at me potentially getting more popular as I move forward and gaining more traction in the industry because of what I do, and companies being like, oh, we won't sponsor him because he talks crap about us. Well, look, man, I wouldn't talk crap about you if you didn't deserve it, right? That's the way I think it should be. That's the way I think the world should be. You know what I mean? If things need to be reported on, if things need to be exposed, and people need to be educated on certain things that these big giant corporations do that are scummy, it should be, people should be educated on that stuff as far as I'm concerned, right? But again, back to like I think Jeff Keighley right now is the greatest example, or the best example currently of what happens to people, right? It seems like he had a really good stance at one point of trying to occasionally call out some things, and it's just gone, dude. It's just gone. And I'm more worried about what my face, my brand, my name is always going to mean for what I stand for than any kind of monetary compensation or anything, you know? So I'm glad that people recognize it, dude. I don't talk about that kind of thing very often. I just do what I do because I'm passionate about it. So good looking out, dude. I appreciate the, you know, the recognition of that. And I hope that, I think, you know, the more I do this kind of thing, the more that I continue to push out this content, put it out on YouTube and things like that, I think more people continue to see this stuff, and they continue to, you know, especially a lot of us gaming enthusiasts and stuff, they grab onto it. And I don't expect everybody to always agree with my sentiments, right? That's not what this is about. I'm always open to discussion, as long as it's civil, you know what I mean? I think people need to learn how to be more civil about things, but I'm not expecting everybody to always agree with everything I say. I'm never going to be looking at everything from every viewpoint, which is why I think it's great for us as a gaming community to always come together and discuss these kinds of things, because there's going to be a lot of times where people have certain viewpoints that maybe I haven't thought of and looked at myself, and it'll maybe help me see things in a better light, right? That's just the way life works, and I'm cool with that. But for the most part, I think that what I do is trying to just help educate people on, and I hope it works. And I think that it is gaining more traction, and I don't really care about these companies, dude, that are getting called out. You know, support the good ones. I'm all about supporting the good ones, dude. Don't support the bad ones, you know? I'm always going to tell it like it is.